for this video, we're going to talk about lambing and lambing procedure. This has been a long time coming. You might have seen the other videos that had to do with ultrasound. We ultrasounded the goats as well as the sheep. This is the final product of this big long process that started back in the beginning of August of 2020. It is now February of 2021 as we film this video. So just to inform you on a couple procedures that we follow out here. The first one is when students come out and check on the sheep, when they do chores in the evening and the morning, they are looking for signs of parturition. Parturition means the act of giving birth. So what they do when they go out and feed the animals, they're also looking for physical signs that the animal is getting ready to go into labor. So some of these signs could include mammary letdown, where their udder fills up with milk. Other signs include mucus discharge out of the vulva area. Sometimes you'll see dilation. You could see beginning contractions or them starting to breathe a little bit heavier. But some of the best telltale signs is when the sheep start to isolate themselves off. Sheep are natural group or herd animals. If a sheep goes off by itself, that is not a normal tendency. So if they go by themselves, that is a very good sign that they're getting ready to give birth. Another sign that we look for is them starting to nest. So outside we have a shelter that they could give birth outside if we don't bring them in time. They'll find a corner of the shed, they'll start pawing at the ground, and they'll make a nest to give birth. So those are some of the signs that we look for in parturition. So the sheep with the blue mark on her backside is the one that we're monitoring to give birth. That blue mark that you see, that's from the ram. There is a marker pad that sits on the ram so that when he mounts the female, the farmer that's observing can see which female the ram mounted and then at what date. And so by knowing the date, we can help predict when these sheep will give birth. And so as I observe her right now, she had a little bit more dilation and mucus discharge earlier in the morning. But she's got some good mammary letdown. She's still with the group. She's still pretty calm. We might expect her to give birth maybe in the next 36 hours, maybe longer than that. We will try and bring her into the barn. I know at night it's supposed to get cold, and we are in central Iowa right now, so it gets cold as even during the daytimes. We'll bring her inside to warm her up a little bit and help her out. When we bring them inside, we monitor their labor. We check on them every 15 to 20 minutes. We don't want to be standing outside of the pen and just staring them down because they are prey animals after all. We as humans are predators, and that makes them nervous. It's already a difficult and stressful time for the sheep. To add one more element to it wouldn't be very good for our sheep. So as you can see here, 2 of our 4 sheep, our ewes, have given birth already. The group on the right with the all black one and then the speckle, those were born on January 20th. That is actually inauguration day. And then the group on the left was born on January 28th, so 8 days apart. It's very interesting to see the size difference between the 2 of them with just 8 days apart. Currently we're monitoring a 3rd sheep outside that is showing some signs of parturition. She's had slight dilation. She has also had a full mammary letdown, but she's not isolating herself off. So we will continue to watch her throughout the evening and into the morning. We'll bring her inside when we think she is close. When we bring them inside, we put them into what's called a lambing jug. And we have 2 versions of it. The first one is what I call the lambing suite. It's a massive open area where the ewes, the female sheep, the moms, have access to full water. We also give them access to grain and hay once they come into this space. It's really important that we maintain a high level of feeding for our ewes because we're asking them to not only feed themselves, but use energy to produce milk for the babies. So they're really feeding 3 sheep. We need to make sure food stays in front of them. We'll monitor to make sure that they're giving birth okay, and once they do and we know the lambs are fine, we'll move them into a transition area, which you see right here. In a large-scale sheep operation, it's not uncommon to have them in an enclosed barn that's roughly 35 degrees. The reason for that is we want it warm enough that nothing is going to freeze, so it's above 32, but we don't want it so warm that they can't go outside in a timely manner. This barn right now is heated between 55 and 60 degrees. Outside right now it's about 10. So that 45-degree difference is huge. That's a lot of stress we could put on the lambs. So this is a school. We operate a little bit differently than a regular producer would. We're going to let them stay inside a little bit longer. The other thing you might notice about our ewes, our female sheep, is they've got a full coat of wool. If we were producers, we would probably shear them, take all of their wool off about 2 to 3 weeks before they're set to give birth. Or at the very least, shear some of that wool on the back half of the sheep. That helps with the cleanup process. It also decreases the amount of bacterial infection. When it comes to the actual birthing process, like I said earlier, we check on them every 15 to 20 minutes. We want to make sure that the moms give birth on their own. That's something we look for in a female sheep. So they give birth on their own, unassisted by humans. We will step in if need be. We want to make sure that they lick the lambs off. That helps the bonding procedure. We want to make sure those lambs are up and that they are nursing. And then we want to check the overall health of both the lambs and the babies. The birthing process could be anywhere as quick to maybe 20 minutes. It could be as long as an hour and a half. Now I know the group over here that gave birth a few days before filming this video, Mama went into labor. About 2 hours later, she gave birth to the first lamb, and about 50 minutes later after that, she gave birth to the second lamb, completely unassisted, and that's what we're looking for. This is a really neat and intense process that we have going on out here, and we're excited to finish up lambing season and then move on to our goats being born.